You're watching WNBC for New York. And now, Chuck Scarborough, Sue Simmons, Al Roker, and Len Berman. This is News for New York at 11.
Well, good evening. Sue is off tonight. I'm Carol Jenkins, and tonight an experience that we're just not used to. Reports of tremors in the New York area.
Well, we have been getting calls tonight from several different parts of the tri-state area from people who claim they felt something like a tremor rattle through their area. Many of our calls came from Suffolk County in the communities of Patchogue and Bellport, and so far there have been no reports of any damage or injuries. Some callers say they heard a loud boom before the shaking. And with us on the telephone right now is Lucille Rao. She is a resident of Patchogue. And Lucille, did you hear a boom or feel the shaking?
Yes, Chuck, we did. We were just sitting down, and there was a loud boom, and we looked at each other, and then the house shook. And my husband said, "What's that? Was that thunder?" And I said, "No, that was not thunder." So I went outside. I didn't know exactly what was going on. And some of my neighbors came outside, and we all said, what was that? And one of my neighbors says, I definitely think that was an earthquake. He said the dog's ears perked up, and he looked around, and then she felt the tremor.
About how long did it last, Lucille?
Oh, just a few seconds.
Just a few seconds, and it was over?
Yeah.
And was there any damage in your house? Any dishes fall down or anything like that?
No, just the house shook.
Uh-huh.
And I can say that I felt these things before, but I never really thought it could have been an earthquake.
Well, how do you feel now? Are you a little nervous about...
No? We're, like, excited, something... I don't know, it's odd for this to happen to us, so we're just, I don't know, we're not scared.
Okay, and Lucille, once again, you heard the boom first, then you felt the shaking of the house. Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay.
Now, News 4 did call the National Weather Service. They say they've been getting calls from New Jersey to Long Island, but they have not been able to confirm where the sound and the tremors originated. We also called the Lamont Doherty Observatory in Palisades, New York. They say they have no record of any such thing tonight, so this could be perhaps a sonic boom. It's somewhat consistent with that.
It actually could. Well, there are some earth-shaking new numbers tonight in the very latest News 4 poll in the race for mayor. They show Mayor Dinkins out in front of challenger Rudolph Giuliani by 9 percentage points, 50 to 41% among probable voters. When looking at who's voting for whom, Republican liberal Giuliani is getting most of the white vote, while Dinkins is getting most of the black vote. Along ethnic lines, Hispanics strongly favor the mayor, while Jewish voters resoundingly choose Giuliani. News 4's T.Y. Chang reports the new poll pours on the heat in an already high-spirited campaign.
Oddly enough, both candidates for mayor say they're pleased with the News 4 Daily News poll that indicates Mayor Dinkins is ahead. Rudolph Giuliani seemed tickled pink to be behind by 9 points.
I was 18 points behind on Election Day last time, and it was a 2-point election. So if I'm within striking distance, I believe we're going to win this election.
Okay, that's what he thinks, if he's comfortable with that position.
Lou Harris Associates, which conducted the poll, says Mayor Dinkins has clearly gained a new momentum. Once behind by 10 points, he's now ahead by nearly that much. But he notes Giuliani could still win if there's low voter turnout by Dinkins supporters.
In order to be re-elected, then Mayor Dinkins has got to turn out a big black vote again on polling day.
Why has Rudolph Giuliani been dropping in the polls? David Dinkins in the Bronx for a town meeting at Lincoln Hospital says character is one issue.
I suspect it is because people are beginning to find out who he is and what he stands for.
But Giuliani at the private Sky Club for a Herman Badillo $1,000 person fundraiser says no one knows the real Rudy yet.
My children know me as a person. My wife does.
You think the voters will know you as a person?
Increasing numbers will. And if I get the opportunity to be mayor of New York City, they're going to see a very different kind of mayor.
At this point, it doesn't appear there will be a final mayoral debate because Mayor Dinkins says he will not debate Rudolph Giuliani unless a third-party conservative candidate, George Marlin, is president. And Rudolph Giuliani says he wants a one-on-one with the mayor. In the Bronx, T.Y. Chang, News 4, New York.
And across the Hudson, New Jersey, Governor Jim Florio's campaign is being fined more than $10,000. An administrative law judge agreed with many of the challenges brought by Republican Christine Whitman. She claimed that Florio's campaign improperly spent funds before the primary. A spokesman for the Florio camp says today's ruling will be appealed.
Well, tonight it appears the parents who took over Public School 156 in Brooklyn last week have lost their battle. A judge has ordered them to send their kids back to temporary classrooms at another school until a third school is ready for them. News 4 Steve Dunlop has reaction from the parents.
Just as News 4 cameras were being allowed their first look inside PS 156 since the protest began, it appeared the judge's ruling had forced a split in the parents' ranks. About 60 parents met with leaders of the protest. One of them emerged early on to say he felt it was time to call it off.
As far as I'm concerned, the school, to my point of view, it served its purpose. There's no need to stay in here and get into an altercation with the police or school safety. It's not worth it.
What's your sentiment? Do you feel like going home tonight, or are you going to stay?
Well, I'm going home tonight. Kind of tired, you know.
But other parents noted that the judge's ruling orders the school construction authority to work round the clock to have another building, PS-12, ready for these children by Thursday. To call off the protest before then, they argued, would send the wrong signal. In the end, they decided to stay for now.
People are tired. This is exhausting, and they do want to leave, but they want to leave and go somewhere where they can guarantee a quality education for their kids, not just running around New York City or Brownsville because the local school board hasn't gotten its act together.
I see a bunch of parents standing behind you. Are all of you staying tonight?
Yes.
A quarter of a century ago, the parents of Ocean Hill, Brownsville occupied this and other schools in another battle with the Board of Ed. That became the legendary battle to decentralize the New York City school system. They didn't back down then, and after lengthy debate, they've decided not to back down now. Steve Dunlop, News 4, Ocean Hill, Brownsville.
Tonight, one New Jersey town is offering a sizable reward to students who rat on their classmates who are illegal students. The Clifton School Board is trying to crack down on students who live in neighboring towns, entering Clifton classrooms illegally. They will give $500 for information on any child who does not belong in their schools.
We feel that if we highlight it with this additional money for this period of time, it will make people think twice as to whether or not they want to come forward. And we think $500 is certainly a very good incentive to do that.
It's not fair to the kids who go to school here. Why should the other children be taking up their space?
The Clifton School District is bordered by Patterson, Passaic, Fairlawn, and Montclair. And Clifton spends an average of $7,500 on each student, so they want to be sure that no additional children are tapping into their financial resources.
Well, a 42-year-old building superintendent is behind bars tonight, and his Brooklyn neighborhood is in a state of shock. William Thompson is accused of sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy in the basement of an apartment house in Midwood. His alleged victim, who had been riding his bicycle outside the house on East 15th Street, was deaf and unable to call for help. Police say the teen escaped from the cellar after he was attacked. The assault is troubling to people in a part of town where crime seems to be increasing.
A lot of crazy things going on. It's just, I wasn't surprised to hear things like that. I mean, it's something that we deal with every day, you know.
Thompson faces charges of kidnapping, sexual abuse, and endangering the welfare of a minor.
Well, as witnesses and as victims, an alarming number of kids in America are coping with violence that steals away their loved ones and robs them of their childhood. Young journalists at the Children's Express News Service held a hearing on the problem in Washington today. And those who testified have experienced violent crime firsthand. Among them, a brother and sister who watched their mother die of stab wounds.
I started screaming and shouting. I started picking her up by her neck, grabbing her by her dress on the collar, and telling her to wake up. And my third wish would be that there were no more violence in the world.
We don't vote and we don't pay taxes. We don't exist.
And I really don't think it's that important that you teach social studies in the school anymore. You need to give kids survival skills.
We have got to teach children and all people, but beginning in our elementary schools, how to resolve conflicts without using knives and fists and guns.
The Attorney General made an appearance. Janet Reno says young people must take charge of their own lives and solve problems, as you heard, without resorting to deadly violence. Well, out-of-control violence in our nation's capital has the mayor of Washington begging for help, but President Clinton says the National Guard is not the answer. He's denied Mayor Sharon Pratt Kelly's request for troops to hit the streets and help the police. Kelly requested help from the Guard last week, saying the crime in her city was overpowering local police. The president says he wants to be tough on crime, but his aides say if he honors Kelly's request, other cities will line up for military protection. Clinton has, however, agreed to back legislation giving Mayor Kelly the authority to call out the troops.
Well, no arrests yet tonight in the case of massive vandalism at Melville, Long Island Cemetery. Over the weekend, vandals overturned and damaged more than 100 tombstones, some of them more than 150 years old. Caretakers say there had to have been 2 or more culprits to do such damage. They say they'll have guards on duty this weekend because of Halloween, but that's little comfort to those whose family members are buried there.
This is a sacred place. You know, it's the dead. You can't honor the dead anymore. The next thing would be digging up the cemeteries and throwing the bodies away.
Cemetery officials say some of the stones were made in the early 1800s and cannot be repaired.
Well, convicted tax cheat Leona Helmsley will be back in town tomorrow after 17 months in a Connecticut prison cell. She's moving to a Midtown hotel, which serves as a halfway house. Helmsley's new home at La Marquis Hotel does not offer maid service, and if she wants anything to nibble, she'll have to fetch it herself. There is no room service. Most rooms come without the convenience of a private bath, and it might get a little crowded because as many as 6 people stay in each suite. Now, we asked a couple of residents how Le Marquis measures up.
It's a house, you know, a halfway house. You have to sign in, sign out, and they check up on you in the morning and night.
2 candy machines, some free juice, and a little snack. About it. That's about it. And then upstairs at 11 o'clock.
Le Marquis will be Helmsley's address for the next 3 months, and then it's 3 years probation. Helmsley has also paid about $8 million in fines and restitution.
Well, when we continue tonight, Rahman's roots. He's accused of masterminding the World Trade Center bombing. Tonight, Dave Browdy travels to the Middle East to talk to the son of that Muslim sheikh. It's a special report you can only see here on News 4. Rahman's roots coming up.
Also coming up, don't think of running this red light. You'll get caught on camera. We'll explain. Plus, the food our kids eat in school is blasted in a new report. Find out what's wrong. And here's Al.
Oh, thanks a lot, Chuck. What a great day we had today. Temperatures in the 70s. But look what's brewing down south. A little southern home cooking heading our way. Clouds and showers and a rough day on Wednesday. Details as News 4 at 11 continues.